Erika Codinarda was born on April 28, 1984 in Velikur. At the time of the described events, she had turned 16. She was the daughter of Francesco and Suzera, and also had a younger brother named Gian Luca. Erika's father, Francesco Codinarda, worked as an engineer and held the position of top manager in a local chocolate company. He was a respected man who had achieved everything on his own and moved to Soga back in the 60s. Erika's mother, Suzera, also worked as an accountant in the same company. However, after the birth of Erika and Gian Luca, she decided to focus on raising the children and became a housewife. Suzera was a very religious woman, often attended church and devoted her free time to volunteer work. The Codinarda family lived in a spacious villa in the suburbs of Velikur, a quiet provincial town with a population of about 27,000 inhabitants, where life flowed smoothly. Erika was a typical 16-year-old teenager, the only difference being that she was born into a well-off family. In her school years, the girl did not show much zeal for learning, but in high school, at the insistence of her mother, she began attending accounting courses where she seemed to demonstrate success. Erika's younger brother, 11-year-old Gian Luca, did well in school and dreamed of following in his father's footsteps by getting an education. The Codinarda family's life flowed calmly and smoothly, nothing portended the coming events. But February 21, 2001 completely turned their ideal world upside down. On the evening of that day, two women were driving along the narrow street of Velikur and noticed a girl walking quickly, all covered in blood. The women immediately stopped beside her and offered help. The girl introduced herself as Erika Codinarda and reported that someone had just killed her mother and brother. The women turned out to be Erika's neighbors. They examined the girl and at the same time called the police, who immediately arrived at the Codinarda house. When the police entered inside, their eyes were met with such a creepy bloody sight that even the chief prosecutor, who came with the detectives, could not stand what he saw and felt sick. Despite the fact that the man was not seeing blood and bodies for the first time, he was forced to leave. The lifeless body of 42-year-old Suzera was found on the kitchen floor. The walls, furniture and floor were completely covered in blood, and the kitchen table was overturned and broken in half. Someone had attacked the woman and inflicted 40 stab wounds on her. The entire floor was strewn with footprints. Investigators rushed to search for Erika's brother, who, according to the girl, was also attacked. He was not found on the first floor, so the police headed up the stairs. At their base, they came across a mysterious blue liquid of unknown origin. Gian Luca was found in the bathroom. Here, an even bloodier scene awaited the police than downstairs. The boy was lying in a bathtub full of bloody water, having received 57 stab wounds. At first, the police who found themselves in the wealthy house considered the version of a robbery gone wrong that turned into a murder. However, the level of brutality towards the victims was off the charts by all standards. This bloody massacre seemed to not fit into the concept of a robbery. Usually, robbers, if discovered, simply shoot their victims and flee. Inflicting stab wounds made no sense, it took much more time, was dirtier, bloodier and could leave evidence. Moreover, it was surprising that the robbers broke into the house at such a late hour, when usually in the evening all the inhabitants are at home. The investigators were puzzled. At this moment, the head of the Codinarda family arrived, who had been away. Shocked by the news of his wife and son's death, he tried to support his rescued daughter. The man hugged her through tears and said, "I only have you left." Erika told investigators that she had been upstairs in her room that evening, listening to music at full volume. Around 11 o'clock in the evening, her mother and younger brother returned from the store. When the girl turned the music down, she heard screams from the first floor, and then the sounds of a struggle on the stairs. According to Erika, when she opened the door to her room, she saw an unknown man attacking her brother. He was beating the boy in the bathroom, and then immediately pounced on her mother. The woman desperately tried to protect her son, so the criminal switched to her. She only managed to shout to her daughter to run away and save herself. According to Erika, she instinctively obeyed her mother and got to the living room, where a second man attacked her. The girl grabbed a bottle of whiskey from the table, smashed it over the attacker's head, bought time and ran out of the house. On the street, she met neighbors in a car who provided assistance and called the police. The surviving schoolgirl got a good look at the unknown attackers and helped compile about 20 composite sketches. The first man was sturdily built with a large beard and gray hair. The second looked about 25 years old, of average build. An examination of the crime scene showed that the attackers had entered through the garage. It was strange that the De Nardi's two guard dogs were not disturbed and remained silent all evening. According to the traces, Gian Luca tried to escape up the stairs, where he was caught. The boy's mother desperately resisted, managed to reach the kitchen, where she fainted and died from blood loss. The public was outraged, as this was the sixth attack associated with a gang of migrants. Despite suspicions of robbery, no valuables had disappeared from the De Nardi house. The news accused the government of being unable to control dangerous refugees. There were calls for mob justice. The police noticed Erika's strange behavior. She was unusually calm and almost unharmed, despite losing half of her family under terrible circumstances. However, her assistance in the investigation was appreciated. The girl recognized a young Albanian named Arban in the photos of potential robbers, who had a conflict with the law. However, despite having similar clothes, he provided an alibi. On February 21 at 8:30 p.m. he was playing bowling with friends, which was confirmed by witnesses and cameras. Moreover, Arban had no head injuries, although Erika allegedly hit him with a bottle. Investigators began to doubt whether anyone had entered the house at all. Suspicion fell on Erika herself. The lack of signs of breaking and entering, the silence of the dogs, the unmotivated cruelty pointed to a personal motive, not a robbery. The police suggested that the criminal had been in the house from the very beginning. Considering possible suspects, the detective suggested that the killer could be Erika herself. This explained the absence of signs of breaking and entering, the large number of wounds on the victims. The weak hand of a 16-year-old girl simply could not stab the knife deep enough, and the silence of the guard dogs. However, Erika was unlikely to have acted alone. She probably had an accomplice, which allowed them to easily deal with two family members unnoticed. Investigators found out that recently the relationship between Erika and her family had been strained due to different views on life. The girl's diary contained alarming entries about a bad relationship with her younger brother Gian Luca and mentions of a boy named Amar, whose communication was hindered by her mother. Amar's real name was Omar Favaro, the 17-year-old son of the owner of a local bar. The relationship with Erika developed rapidly. There were rumors of an engagement. Susie was against it because of Moro's bad reputation, conflict, smoking. The mother's fears were justified. The lovers isolated themselves, spent all their time together, experimenting with and aggressive sex. The Carabinieri suspected that Susie's peace and obstacles cost her her life. Erika could have attacked her brother as well, with whom she had a complicated relationship, 57 wounds due to weakness, while her boyfriend was dealing with her mother. On February 23, the police brought Erika and Amar to the crime scene so that the girl could describe the events of the attack and identify discrepancies. At the exit, they were met by journalists interested in the involvement of the troubled boy in the murder. After examining the crime scene, the detectives noticed discrepancies between the evidence and Erika's testimony. Amar listened attentively, but remained silent and nervous, as if he knew more. The couple was taken back to the station and left in a room, secretly filming. At first, the alarmed Amar relaxed, and he and Erika began to discuss truly terrible things. Amar shared in detail how he was fascinated by the red blood in the water in the bathtub after he stabbed Gian Luca. Erika mockingly imitated her mother's last words. They seemed not to repent and did not realize the cruelty of the crime. Erika believed that the police had nothing against them and that they would be released after questioning. She assured Amar that, as the only witness, she would cover for him, and now they could freely be together. The lovers tenderly called each other murderers and kissed, all of which was captured on video recording, which became their confession. The minors were charged with double premeditated murder. The disclosure of the case shocked everyone, even the local community, which was about to drive out migrants. Erika was sent to a correctional colony in Milan, Amar to Turin. During separate interrogations, the teenagers began to shift the blame. Erika insisted that Amar had killed her mother and brother, locking her in the bathroom, because Susie would not let them be together, and she herself was a depressed, manipulated victim. The girl wrote to her friends that she would soon be released as innocent. But detectives considered her the instigator of the massacre, as her relatives characterized Erika as cold and decisive, and Amar as passive. It turned out that the suspicious blue substance was poison, which they wanted to use to kill Gian Luca, but it did not dissolve in the water. Amar changed versions. At first he took more responsibility, then accused Erika, and in the end denied being in the house. He recalled that the girl often asked to kill the family after conflicts. Eventually, Amar said that Erika had let him in, given him gloves and a knife, but he had refused to kill, which had infuriated her. The girl had locked him in the bathroom and let him out after dealing with her family. The prosecutor had evidence of Amar's lies. Thanks to the recording of the confession of the murder, he helped the investigation by revealing the location of the murder weapons, gloves and poison, which were later found. New evidence indicated that it was Erika who killed Susie and Gian Luca, but Amar also inflicted dozens of knife blows. It remained to convince the jury of their guilt. Despite the brutality of the crime, supporters appeared for Erika. Behind bars, she even got engaged to 32-year-old DJ Mario, who died in an accident 7 years later. Numerous interrogations and examinations before the trial on November 28, 2001 revealed Erika's narcissism, dependence on others' admiration, manipulativeness and cruelty. Amar used this for his own needs. Together they made the perfect criminal union, but were found sane. At the closed trial, the criminals blamed each other. Reconstruction of events. After an argument between Erika and her mother, Amar ran into the house. Erika turned up the music to muffle the screams. Amar attacked Susie with a knife, covering her mouth. Erika joined him. The woman resisted, but died, asking before her death to spare her son. Gian Luca was decided to be killed as a witness. Attempts to drown and poison him failed, so he was stabbed. Having washed off the blood, the murderers threw away one knife with gloves, the other they left. Amar left on a scooter. His bloody clothes were noticed by a passerby. On December 14, 2001, the court sentenced Erika to 16 years for premeditated murders and conspiracy, Amar to 14 for cooperating with the investigation. The girl cried and insulted those present, and Amar was disoriented. Erika's change of mood confirmed that a monster was hiding behind the pretty face. It was assumed that the young criminals would serve part of their sentence in a colony for minors until the age of 21, and then be transferred to an adult prison. In 2005, Erika was denied a request to be transferred to an institution with a milder regime due to the absence of changes in behavior. An examination in 2006 found Erika to be a danger to society due to a serious personality disorder. Psychiatrists warned that without proper intervention, a person capable of and prone to murder would be released. To an inmate friend, Erika confessed that at first she and Amar had planned to kill not only Susie, but also her father. She wanted to adopt Gian Luca after coming of age, and until then live with her grandmother. This scheme was to last until their marriage, but her brother had to be killed as a possible witness. After treatment, Erika's condition improved and her aggression decreased. In prison, she received a higher education in philosophy, defended a dissertation on Socrates in 2009. She was released on March 3, 2010. Erika became a volunteer for an organization that helps former inmates integrate into society. She spent some time in a psychiatric hospital, where she met a musician volunteer. They got married and settled on a vineyard near Lake Garda. Erika's father Francesco, who could have been a victim if he had been home at the time of the crime, always supported her. She regrets what she did, misses her mother and brother, and hopes for their forgiveness. Amar was released in 2010. He moved with his parents to Tuscany, became a bartender, got married, and the couple had a daughter. In December, he was seen at the graves of Susie and Gian Luca. The next day, photos appeared on the front pages of newspapers, which infuriated Erika. In an angry letter, she called Amar a hypocrite and a scoundrel who used her family for fame. It is unknown whether these were accidental photos taken by journalists, or whether Amar made them himself for sale. In 2021, Amar again had problems with the law due to domestic violence against his ex-wife. That's all for now. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future content. Take care and goodbye.